the emails out and then have a sheet for you to sign. There's no reason for her to copy 5 stacks or how many other stacks of these minutes. Then I find out that there's an email that came from Steve that there's procedures that my name is all fiscal officer written all through it, but didn't come to me. I mean, if it's procedures, why don't I have these procedures? So I happen to get a copy of it. It has Roy Mann, Mike McLaughlin, James McGuire, and went to Adrian. I never seen these procedures before, but fiscal officer is written out, immediately reviewed by the fiscal officer. Fiscal officer, give it with the date. It's every line almost has fiscal officer, so why didn't I get this? So here I would have come into the meeting and not known why we're making all these copies. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. This had to be 5 reams, three reams of paper for all these minutes. And there's got to be a better way.
Tracy,
Yeah.
this particular, pardon me, this particular issue here, pardon me, I can't explain it to you now, but I will after tonight is over.
Well,
why
my issue
I
is,
told you to go ahead and do these minutes.
my issue is not so much that they're printed. I mean, you told me that. My issue is why don't I get copies of a procedure, an office procedure, and I don't know anything about it. If my name is all through it.
Are you
I mean,
talking about that
I can't-
5-part email from Adrian that came out today?
5-part
There's
email, I
like
must have
5
didn't get that.
attachments?
I must have didn't get this, it came out today. Oh, no, not that one, I know what you're talking about. No, I'm talking about the minutes.
Okay.
You know, I know what you're talking about, the waiver and all those forms on there. No, not that one. I'm talking about the procedure that was written. That your name is on here. It was sent out on the 3rd. I think you replied on the 3rd. Yeah, it was sent out on the 3rd, so it was sent out on Friday. My issue is not with this, because you explained that to me, Mr. Mayor. And I understand that we need to discuss this, because there's gonna be some more sets of minutes come out. Could be close to the longer minutes, so these could be close to the stack again. These are all 2019 minutes.
Yes.
So you're gonna ask me what I want to be done in this? I need to be included in the emails when it's something that involves me. That's what I'm asking. How we resolve that issue, I don't know. Is this stuff being done in secret? You don't want me to know about it? Or is there some way you want to set me up and say, hey, you got that, your name was on it, my name's not on there? I'm sure this has happened more than once, this is just one I got a hold of. That's all I have.
Anybody else got any more new business?
Yes, I have a few things.
Okay.
One, Mr. McGuire, I figured out why you didn't get those attachments. They didn't get them either. I went back, I forwarded everything to Mr. Wolf first to make sure it was okay to send it out. I forwarded his, which then detached all the attachments. That's why nobody got the attachment. I went back and looked, when you said, why wasn't getting those, that was my fault. So, but you did get them on the second round, correct?
Well, I got them on the second round, I checked each one, but I wasn't sure, because I know that you blow off some of my emails, or decide,
I
take it
respond
upon
right back to
yourself
you.
to not respond, so I wasn't sure if it was one of those emails you decided to make a decision on, but we got what we need.
Besides, I just wanted to make sure you got it. I appreciate you letting me know, because I did not realize that it didn't send the attachments. So I sent those out to you guys so you guys could see where we're at the moment with our pumper tanker. We're in a kind of a holding pattern because none of the manufacturers are letting vehicles out to bring them out for a demo. We can't go to any of the manufacturers to see how they build any of this stuff because of all this COVID-19. So, but I wanted you to be aware of where we're at, so you know that we were. The first email you got was our description of what we wanted when the committee sat down and talked about what would be the best thing for our department. Especially and that's why we brought Mr. Mann in as part of the committee, is his years of experience being here. He knows a little bit more about the community and the roads and the plats and things like that, so we decided to go from a 3,000 to 2,000. But as soon as we can get vehicles out here, I will let everybody know that you guys come and take a look at the trucks, so you can see hands-on before we continue moving any further forward. Unless you guys have any other questions, that's about where we're at.
I mean, you've got a substantial number of tankers. My question to you is, you've built the spec around this huge chassis to carry 6 guys. A lot of the tankers that I've seen in the past, and a tanker that we liquidated out of 61, was a 2-person. So my question to you is, can we get to 3,000 gallons with less chassis and bigger tank and go with a leaner, less expensive, throw a leaner, less expensive tanker in the mix of choices as we're picking this over? 600 grand for one apparatus seemed high.
It's a dual-purpose apparatus, though. The 2-person tanker that you're talking about is limited to 2 people ride on that vehicle. 3,000 gallons in this community is going to require a dual axle. And we sat down and talked about that. There's areas that we wouldn't be able to get the truck down. The reason why we looked at this pumper/tanker is that it could respond to not just rural areas where there's no water. They can come out fighting fire with it at the same time and bringing 2,000 gallons of water with them versus 2 people on a commercial cab where, you only have 2 people and, there's nobody else to fight fire with. So this way they could put the engine here, or the pumper tanker here at 60, they could respond anywhere in this area or south where there is no water and be able to use it as a dual purpose vehicle for fires and for hauling water.
So when are you anticipating being ready to bring this to the table for approval?
Well, I wish I could give you that answer. The COVID-19 pandemic has kind of got me in a holding pattern at the moment on this. But we do have some specs to look at. I want to bring some trucks in so we can see the quality of, what they're talking about, aluminum bodies and things like that before we really make any major decisions on which vehicle we want to go. So that's the reason why I sent you guys that. I asked Mr. Wolf, we should get this sent out so that you guys are updated where we're at. Because right now, like I said, we're in a holding pattern. We can't go any further. And I know Mr. Mann's been part of the whole process as well.
So the next step's going to be show and tell, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
As soon as the COVID and the pandemic is done, then we can start doing that. And if you guys have any, as you look through those drawings, you have any questions, feel free to give me an email. I will respond to your emails. It was my fault that the attachments were attached the first time around. The second thing, I give you guys, since we haven't been able to have a meeting with all the people, we'll hold off on doing the presentation that I put together. You have the 2019 year-end report for the Jefferson Township Fire Department. There's a lot of information in there for you guys to look over about your fire department, things that we've done, things that we're going to do, some stats. There's all kinds of things there. You're welcome to look at that. I went back and pulled up a lot of information that had to chase it down on EMS billing and collections and things like that. So you have a copy of it, along with, there's quite a bit of information here. You guys take some time to take a look at it. If you have any questions, let me know. And then the next thing we have is you have a resolution that we were going to that Mr. Wolf asked me to give to you guys, as well as it's the building maintenance program. There's a resolution and there's 2 other documents with it. The first document is the objectives of this maintenance program and how this is to be handled, and talking about fire department facilities, non-fire department facilities, how to and what needs to be done on the vehicle or the buildings. And then the second part to that is another document that shows general interior and exterior of the buildings, what we need to check on every throughout the course of these buildings as we own them. We're looking at the HVA system, the electric, lighting, plumbing, restrooms. We're looking for, going through and finding damages on the walls, paint, things like that there. I'll let Mr. Wolf chime in here as well to see what he wants to add to that.
One of the trustees and fiscal officer, probably, one of the things that I've been kind of knowing, and when Chief got here, I told him as well, we don't have a plan for all of our maintenance of our buildings. There's no documentation, there's no folder, there's no comprehensive plan, plus there's no accountability for what has been done in the past. It's very difficult for Tracy to go back and pull an invoice 3-4 years from now to see if we did HVAC work. That's impossible at times. I don't want that to happen. A preventive maintenance, just like Chief does on his fire trucks and we're starting to do in the road department, is well documented, and we know when a piece of apparatus has been taken care of. It has been proven amongst many trade journals, preventive maintenance saves public money because it saves and protects the equipment because it's been fixed correctly and looked after and done on an annual basis. So Chief and I have been working on this together. This is what we came up with in terms of the program. And we'd like you to consider passing this resolution tonight during a regular meeting or whenever, so we can get started, because it involves a lot of exterior work on the areas, at least in the beginning, of the areas that the fire department manages. And then we'll expand this program into the other non-fire buildings as the program moves along, but you can't do it all at once. But this program is comprehensive, and I think we've covered everything. Everything, and the documentation will go into the files when each of these items are done. So no matter who is employed by you in the future, the next person coming in can pick up that program and see what had been done and where have they left off. We ran into that problem with the fire system testing a few months ago, where it popped up where we had to have the sprinkler system.
Oh, the sprinkler.
Remember that? And it just popped in because it wasn't looked after. And so this program covers that as well. So we'd like to.
Backflow preventer too.
Backflow preventer. The general maintenance on all of our generators. Now we may have a second one eventually down at 59. Looking after all our lights that burn out. There's no accountability for that at the present time. So this resolution takes care of that for Chief and I.
And we will document this in ERS just like we do the vehicles. This building in 59 and 61 have already been put into that system. So anytime anything gets done now in these buildings, we're documenting it into that there. And then we could add the non-fire facilities like Kimball Lane and any of the road department. So if we do work over there, if the maintenance coordinator does work over there, then we can log all that. And then at the end of the year, you can run a report on what was done, how many hours, cost of what, the parts and labor and things like that in there as well. And then the last thing I have is just a reminder that, we are in this pandemic. When you guys are out, you may want to start wearing a mask. That's the new thing out now. All the stores now will be limiting the amount of people in the stores. That went into effect last night at 11 o'clock. Though I have to give Governor DeWine credit, he now says now you can take drinks home, which you dine out and bring it back home. They're allowed to get 2 adult beverages to take home with your dinner. That was done today. And hopefully that you guys are reading the updates that I send you. Keep you, as you notice, Ohio is keeping the curve down. We're not overwhelming our hospital system. That was the biggest concern, is that we were going to overwhelm that hospital system. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have another week or two to see if we're going to get, we could get 10,000. We may only get maybe 5,000. We don't know, because we don't know where this stuff is going to go. That's all I have.
I have one more item that involves the fire department, but it also involves your operation trustees. One of our problems right now, and it's a critical problem, is we have no legal counsel. They're not reachable. No matter how many times you email, how many times you call. I've only had one discussion in well over 15 or 16 days with the legal counsel. Chief has a pending problem with this N95 mask. We cannot use the Patel company that's in Columbus that's got national news at the present time, because there's an indemnity portion of the agreement that townships by law are not allowed to sign. Because we have no action to legal counsel and we have limited supplies of this N95 mask, if we would get hit, there'd be a chance there's no mask for your firefighters to go take care of patients. That's truth, that's not scare tactic, that's truth. We need the ability, and that's, I'll go into the other reasons in a minute, but this is the pending one. We need the ability to hire outside legal counsel when needed to address this kind of an issue, which would be to interpret the contract, and then we'd be able to make a somewhat fast decision. If your legal counsel sees that it is not a problem, they're going to advise you as such, and then we can go to Patel and sign the contract. But this is a need today, not a need tomorrow, or we can kick it down the road to the next meeting. This has to be a decision today. So I want you guys to consider hiring legal counsel when needed to review things like this and other contracts. Now, the other needs I have is the ongoing telephone with ComDoc, protocol, and the copy company ComDoc, and the time that in their contracts. We tried it last year with legal counsel of the prosecutor's office's help. It didn't happen. We need those professional contract reviews. So, when legal counsel is here tonight, part of your executive session, you have the right to ask questions. But my recommendation is you consider hiring outside legal counsel. And my suggestion would be, if you did, you hire the Surrey Dowden Turner company, because we need an answer on these masks. If that's the only thing you use them for, you're done. But he's in a bind.
Can I explain? I'll explain the process. We do have N95 masks. Everybody is assigned one. They're to use them 5 times, and then they go into a brown bag, and then they're stored. They're also stored when they're not being in use. We've also purchased covers to go on the outside of these masks as well to protect that N95 you take off and re-wash them. But what's going to happen is when the N95s are used and soiled, we need to be able to take them to this Patel, which is in Columbus, and it's $3.60 per mask, and they'll sanitize it. You're only allowed to do it 20 times, and the mask becomes useless. It starts to degrade, and you won't be able to use it. So this is something we have to look at. It's not like we have to have it tomorrow, but we need to have somebody figure out for us if we can do this contract with Patel. I mean, all the hospitals and other, we have an emergency meeting with the fire departments tomorrow with the fire chiefs. So I'll follow up and see if anybody else got past their law director on this indemnification. Number 7 is the question that it holds them harmless, and a lot of other law directors didn't like that phrase. So we'll find out more tomorrow from the other chiefs if anybody had any change in with their law director. But it's not that it has to be done today, but if this continues and this surge comes like they say they are, we will eventually have to have them done. And this is not this COVID-19 is nothing to kid around with. I've already lost 3 firefighter friends to this because of doing their job. So it's not a good thing.
So you're saying no fire departments have contract with this company?
In the county, yeah, so far, they're all said that all their law directors had an issue with that indemnification. But I'll find out and see if there was any follow-up or updates from them tomorrow when we have our meeting tomorrow. We do our meeting by Zoom, so we'll all be together tomorrow.
Can I make a comment on, just when you consider that, remember that the audit report had got us on iron outside legal. So just check into whatever that is. So I'm suggesting, maybe you should contact the state auditor somehow to see what they suggest. That's just my suggestion. And also, I'm done with that one, but also in the ComDoc and the full on-call, well, mostly the ComDoc, we have to get a letter out, no matter what legal determines, before June, whatever date I told you. Whatever, we talked about this, Mr. Mann and Steve. We have to get that out no matter what we determine, what the legal determines, then that'll come later. But we have to get that out, because if it lags on and on because of this COVID, then we'll be passed and it'll just still be paying. We're paying for something we don't have, we're not using, we haven't, but we're paying for something we're not using. So we definitely have to get that email, letter, whatever you decide to do, out between June something and August something, 150 to 90 days. The contract end date, beginning date is November 1st, 2021. We've been paying since November, when we should have done last time. We've been paying for something we haven't had since last November.
When the prosecutor took on the review of the case, they also made comment though that if it was rightfully to be canceled and they didn't, they are to remove those charges. So that's what the prosecutor was working on when they went on COVID leave.
But still, I
We
think.
lost that, so we don't, I'm sorry, Tracy.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We don't have any clue at this point that Matt Heck's office today is closed. So we don't know when they're gonna get legal counsel back, and we can't operate this way.
So where are you at on supply levels? What do you think you've got?
And we got about 500 of masks left and 95s.
So how far do you think that's gonna take us?
It depends on how many patients we got. I can't give you an answer, you know. It
So
could
if
be
you've got a
couple months.
patient that's infected, if they've got it, you gotta switch them out.
Right, we would take it and put it in there and switch out. And we've already had 2 confirmed cases. So it's here in this area, so just so you know. Let me find out from the chiefs tomorrow, see what the other departments have done, see if they've got a workaround, and I will get back to all you on that.
Because what, everybody's in the same boat with the supply chain.
Anybody with fire departments, or big hospitals, they don't care, they'll sue anyways.
Any other new business? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Adjourned at 6:56.